Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek Online. My name is Umbaglo, and with me once again is...
Mycolomaniac. Hello, Internet.
Good day. So, last time we played another Foundry mission. Which one was that again?
I should remember this.
Yeah.
It's only been a week. My brain doesn't work.
I mean, I remembered I enjoyed it. The last week has been kind of rough, so... Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was...
Go back and watch the last episode.
Yeah, it was a part 1 of 2, and I haven't found the part 2 yet. Which is still kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish that it had at least mentioned that it was going to multi-part when I picked it up, but that's okay. That's right, it was Sins of the Father.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we
The title has never been used for anything else.
Yeah, because we got into that conversation about how that episode title is used everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually kind of surprised that there isn't a normal mission with that title in the game.
Yet.
Anyway, so Mecha was sort of wandering around and saw this mission, the other Starfleet.
Question mark.
And its description sounds interesting enough, so we're going to check this one out.
Hopefully it doesn't backfire, because the reviews are kind of mixed.
Yeah, it's kind of middle of the road.
Yeah. Though the bad ones mention it breaking on them, so this could end in hilarious failure either way. I basically found this by accident, though.
Oh, that poor ensign.
Mm-hmm. He's a sanitation engineer.
Oh. But he was at least partially right. We may not be meeting up with Deep Space Nine itself, but we are meeting up with one of their shuttles.
Now we do the waiting game.
Yeah. Waiting for an instance to be created or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anything big happened this week as far as game news goes.
No, it was mostly just more news articles. Story blogs. There was one that was actually pretty interesting, though. Suddenly a lot of enemies. One of the story blogs was kind of interesting because it was about one of the agents who got sent back to Khan's war.
Oh, the eugenics wars?
Yeah. So that one, I actually thought that one was interesting. Which
is funny because I don't know this for sure, but I thought that played into the temporal Cold War in Enterprise too. Or maybe it was just like right after it, because I just remember seeing some like episode previews.
Never watched enough of Enterprise to get to the temporal Cold War stuff. Like, at least when it picked up for real.
Yeah, I did. I've seen, like I said, I've probably mentioned this before. I've seen all of like 5 episodes of Enterprise total.
But it's given some of the other references that they've made. It's pretty likely that if there was like a bit of the eugenics war in the temporal Cold War stuff, like this is probably set up for why that was a reference.
Yeah, and think about, because eugenics wars were supposed to happen in 1996, which everyone here should remember from history class.
Oh yeah, well, big not even from history class. Like, you should remember it.
Nah, nowadays, I mean, there could be people listening to this who weren't born in 1996.
I guess that okay. I guess that's true.
Yeah, I mean, that was 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
But at the very least, they should cover that in history. It's a major conflict in our time.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I think the stuff in Enterprise covered like his descendants. I remember one was played by Brent Spiner, which I think like goofily tried to mesh the fact that both Khan's last name and the guy who created Data's last name are the same thing. Rather than just being like, oh, okay, it's a name that people can have. Yeah.
Boy, this really is a huge mix-up.
Apparently something is making Starfleet Academy graduates stupid.
Huh.
I think it's called alcohol. He's asking if we need directions to find planet Earth.
The other Starfleet Academy. Things are maybe making a little bit more sense here.
This is gonna be more like the Starfleet Academy equivalent of those crappy universities you see on TV. And now she thinks that the speed of light works like it does in Gunbuster.
These people were all trained wrong as a joke?
I think so.
This person thinks that
he's getting paid.
Now, that one is actually really weird because while I understand this in the context of the story they're trying to write, I'm pretty sure that the majority of humans in this already know that they live in a post-currency economy.
Yeah. By the way, I have like 800,000 dilithium. It's awesome. I can buy tons of stuff with it.
I mean, I have a lot of energy credits, too.
Yeah, that too. Also, I'd like to point out this guy says Filgercarb, which is a curse from Battlestar Galactica. Like, the old one.
He couldn't fly the ships because there were no guide wires on them.
And this one thinks you can fuse animals together with a transporter. Of course, the funny thing is you don't say that's impossible, you just say it's illegal.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen stuff like that happen in the show.
Yeah, actually, wasn't there an episode of Voyager where, like, two people got merged together?
Yes, it was...
I know one was Neelix.
It was Neelix and Tuvok, was it not?
That sounds right.
It was either Neelix and... I'm pretty sure it was Neelix and Tuvok, but if it wasn't the two of them, it was... it would have been Neelix and B'Elanna, but I'm pretty sure it was Tuvok, because that's
'cause I
even
don't
more
think they would've
hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think they would have been bold enough to do like the gender mixing back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are either aliens or people brought out of time.
Why would we take a runabout? Oh, yeah, because for some reason our ship probably didn't follow us. Because that's a smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. It also makes me...
I trained my officers better than this.
Yeah. Like, on one hand, it also makes me wonder why the guy decided to have the mission start be not at Deep Space Nine, but it actually works with what the plot he's going for here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually not upset.
A whole bunch of wacky nonsense.
Just like a whole lot of people not understanding what's going on at all. Oh,
And now we're getting shot
now
at.
we're getting
again.
shot at again. We're here doing this.
Yeah, they're not really having much luck.
No, they're not. I might as well just make use of my separate ability.
What do you win?
The T6 Prometheus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Well. Okay, I'm not entirely sure why he had that combat scene then.
Maybe he's afraid of just not having an action sequence in the middle of the episode.
I guess.
I don't know. That was kind of pointless.
Yeah, that was like really unnecessary.
Unless it's an unintentional bug and just loaded up the combat scene we had before.
No, that was definitely a different combat scene.
Maybe it'll make sense later.
Yeah. Here's hoping, because yeah, that was as presented. That was definitely unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh, I know what blog they put. Actually, did we talk about that last time?
Which one?
The console interface one.
No.
I know we talked about the console version, but
Yeah,
I
actually, no,
put
we
one up
didn't
showing
talk
the
about
interface.
the console control system, or the UI
Yeah.
more specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. All right, let me pull it up while we're going through some of this. It's actually kind of a neat way to go about the problem of, I mean,
A billion abilities.
yeah, the abilities themselves, if nothing else. Like, people can see what my UI has been, and activating bridge officer powers has always been a lot of me clicking around, which itself has always kind of been a bit of a hassle, because it's not. The game basically has a global cooldown in between activating abilities, but it doesn't really, it doesn't really show you a global cooldown. So there's definitely times where I'm like trying to click through, and it's just not accepting me activating some of these powers for no discernible reason. And it's a little inconsistent about it as well. So what Cryptic is trying to do, and you can carry on through if you want. I'm waiting on you for the map transfer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
I just want to make sure you made it through it.
So what it looks like Cryptic is doing is they're going to have a radial menu. Basically, they're going to associate each category of bridge officer power. Basically, the way the game works right now is that your powers are displayed by the bridge officer slots. or and slash or by the power trays if you so desire. But broadly speaking, it's set by the bridge officer slots. What it looks like they're going to do for the console UI is that they're going to be associating all sources of power, of powers, more accurately, to a different button. So all your captain abilities, all your science abilities, all your engineering abilities, all your tactical abilities. And I think the last one is all your like consoles and other activated, like other non-associated. Do you want to fight or do you want to just get out of here?
Let's fight, because I remember seeing a thing saying... Oh, I guess not.
Oh.
Never mind. I remember one of the reviews mentioning it broke if you chose not to fight, but
okay.
Maybe they fixed that or whatever.
Or that's how they were... Yeah, and that's how they try to fix it. Alright.
To go to space dock, I guess.
Report in at space dock. I've got report in at space dock, but I've also got make contact with the DS9 shuttle. I'm just gonna
check something.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. While you check that, I'm going to continue talking about this. So, yeah. So it looks what you'll be able to do is it's associating each source of power to a button. And when you press the button, it'll open up a radial menu, which will allow you to then select which power you want to activate. In addition, it looks like you'll also be able to associate weapon groups with other buttons. Probably, I don't know how many. Like the screenshots they show only break down the weapons into two. But I figure they'll probably have them broken down to maybe a few more. So that's actually kind of a smart way to go about it, because like having the powers shown in the trays next to your bridge officers, like that's a nice touch, and it's certainly like it's good to let you see, like it adds more context for it all. Like it makes like story sense.
Also, yeah, that just restarts the mission. So.
All right, so I guess we need to head to Earth Space Dock. All right, let's try using
transwarp.
Yeah, let's just transwarp over there. This is actually kind of peculiar because normally Foundry missions don't really let you do this.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if it accidentally broke.
So let's just see. Yeah, and then the other. Okay. And then the other part of the big things that they would have to fix up is changing how you navigate through the UI with a controller, vice and mouse and keyboard. So it looks like it's going to be basically like more.
Yep, this didn't work.
Yeah, let's look at the map. No, I see where we're supposed to go.
Okay, cool.
Follow you. It just didn't show up very well on the mini map.
Super intuitive.
No, the mini map because of like the way the icons work, it wasn't quite showing up. It's going to be nope, not there. It's going to be down here. I imagine.
Maybe.
No, just a little too far. It's around here somewhere, though.
Where's Sulu?
it? Nope, not him. It's basically somewhere around, like,
Temporal agent.
like where I'm standing is the center of where. So maybe it's. Oh, here we go. There it is. But yeah, so the new like just regular UI is going to be much larger menus, which actually kind of makes sense. Like it's not going to be like nested windows like it is here. It's going to be more just like once you go into a menu, that's going to be your screen. Which,
yeah, like an inventory screen in, say, Mass Effect or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Dragon Age or Skyrim. Okay, so now we have to go to Lilaire, which was Iota Pavonis, I believe it said.
Okay. Alright, so let's head back to the ship. So it looks pretty good. I'm interested in playing around with that UI.
Yeah, the radio wheel pretty much makes me instantly think of Mass Effect, which had a similar thing. And they've also said, like, those games you can, like, map ones you constantly use.
That'll be good. I can look at the screenshots here, and I'll have put one up in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Where is there?
I'm wondering if it's in the Alpha Quadrant. I'm assuming that's using the old sector block names.
Oh, right. Yeah, what was Iona Pavonis?
I'll go check out the Alpha Quadrant.
No, it's Demora sector at the north.
Oh. Well then. Turn back around.
Yeah, what I'm thinking it'll be is like you will have like if you tap the button, it will activate like what you flag as the default. Like looking at this example layout I'm seeing here, but if you hold, it will then open up the it'll open up the radial wheel, which like that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the button assignments that they've put on here may be a little odd, but I don't know. It looks like
I'm assuming you'll be able to remap your controls in some way.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to remap. I can see how these ones work for what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, and the other thing I know we talked about last week, they have said, at least I believe they've said, they're not doing cross-platform play between the two versions due to the difference in patch cycles.
They did say that?
I think so. I saw it somewhere. I'll try to get a source on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would that doesn't surprise me at all. I just can't remember having seen something about that myself. It's a shame, but I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this just means that we'll just do like a couple of things on the we'll do a video of the console version, and we'll just do a couple stuff on it as an example.
Yeah, I would like to hope that you still are able to. Here we go.
All right, here we are. Let's investigate the Academy. I don't know. I just have a feeling that it's going to be separate accounts as well.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of a bummer.
but yeah, like again, we'll just show it. We'll show off a little bit of stuff just to make sure that we record what the console version was like. Again, though, like all that said, I some of the like UI design itself is super rough, and I'm not that like keen on it. But broadly, what they're doing, I actually like a lot. It actually looks real nice, and it's a great idea. Yeah, so here's another batch of Nausicaan Raiders.
Yeah, I found it on the SCO wiki, but they aren't listing a source, so take that with take the lack of crossplay with a grain of salt, I guess.
All right. Like I said, I am like I wouldn't be surprised. That still sounds like it makes a lot of sense. It's just like until I see official notification, I'm going to at least keep out some hope. But yeah, I actually am pretty sure that it's going to be separate accounts because I actually did look it up, and Neverwinter is separate accounts. Not
Okay.
They don't say it's because of patch cycles because it looks like they are linked. It sounds like it's maybe more due to the payment systems.
Oh yeah, because they'd have to be able to accept payment through
Like the
XBLA,
or
PSN.
which is not to say that that's something that can't be overcome because like I know Final Fantasy 14 does it.
Yeah.
But it may not be something that Perfect World wants to take to deal with, because I think technically speaking, they're probably the ones doing the deals, not Cryptic.
And I'm willing to bet Square Enix has a lot more wiggle room.
Yeah,
as far as that kind of stuff goes.
and I think that Square Enix also probably does like almost all of their transactions not inside the game at all. Like I don't think it does microtransactions in the game at all. I think it does all of that stuff through the web store. So as a result, like I think that kind of changes how those the point systems, let's just say, work. Like in Cryptic's games, there's the idea of the C store. There's a store that you go to buy things for your account inside the game itself. And if that was entirely offline, I imagine that maybe Perfect World could have gotten away with it. But because of the way they have it structured, I think that they have to make use of the platform holders' built-in storefronts, and as a result, that may not actually be able to link in properly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer just because I have so much stuff on this one, but I wouldn't mind having, like, if I could have them both. Like, not even, carrying over characters, just having access to this stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame, but at the same time, like I think that a lot of those improvements are going to be put on the PC version anyway. So if you wanted to start playing the PC version with a controller, I have a feeling that's going to be added.
That'd be interesting. So apparently the Raiders are so active they had to cease training activities for their pilots.
I wonder why.
This is a scam.
Well, we're about to find out.
They're run to hairy mud.
Wouldn't that just be perfect?
Oh, that'd be I mean, I'm assuming the actor is either deceased or retired at this point, but that'd be a great get for Agents of Yesterday.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That would be pretty good.
They did mention a few different voice actors they're getting, too, like, I always miss this guy's last name, Vic Mignogna. He's playing an original character they've created for Agents of Yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Fairly prevalent voice actor. Did Full Metal Alchemist, Edward, and a bunch of other things.
Oh, looks like you got sent to another map.
Fine.
It's... We had a pretty good run, you know?
We did have a pretty good run.
Which leads me to believe that maybe it's related to
A setting within the mission.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be a mission setting, or it could be just like the way a map is structured. Yeah, there is something, and it's not just random chance. Or it could have just been like, I don't know, the age of some of the missions. Like I have a feeling this one is probably a fairly older one.
Mm-hmm.
Although it has been using a lot of newer maps, so maybe not. But again, it's possible that some of the reasons why it could be related to just the structure of the mission and not just the game wigging out. Well, so far we've come across some Gorn enemies and some Klingons.
Same.
I mean, it makes some sense for a training ground, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's supposed to be robots of them anyway.
Yeah.
Which kind of is confusing, I guess, because, you know, I mean, not for this place, but normal Star Trek, I assume they use holograms.
Yeah, that's... I wonder if robotics would have been cheaper than setting up a large enough holodeck area. No, and here's some Nausicaans.
Given the way holodecks are kind of shown to be, I don't think... I mean, this is Star Trek, so cost is actually not a factor.
Yeah, that's also true.
I just imagine they use holograms because it's like if you use robots and you break them, there are broken parts which are wasted resources.
Mm-hmm.
Ignoring how this is Star Trek and you can literally create matter from energy, but
I mean, there's that is one of the reasons why they state that the TR-116 never really caught on.
Mm-hmm.
Like not just the moving parts, but just the ammunition itself. Like, yeah, theoretically they could just continue replicating it forever, but the weapon itself doesn't have a replicator.
Now, see, where the idea of that stuff not being useful falls apart is the second that Picard is able to replicate a Tommy gun and use it on the Borg, and it works perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that the TR-116 was not effective against the Borg, because actually there has been like extended universe stuff where they do exactly that, where like they have slug throwers like the TR-116 and use it against the Borg, and it actually is very effective. It's just for a lot of the extended universe stuff, the Borg is such a low-end threat that basically it comes down to Starfleet figures it's not worth keeping the weapons around and storing ammo for them because it's so unlikely to happen. And then you get stuff like Star Trek Online where the Borg are everywhere. So,
and I have a shotgun.
And you have a shotgun.
A shotgun that is like 300 years old.
Yes.
And is the best Borg killing thing you've got.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we have the ability to defeat Borg, like their ability to adapt. It's just it takes time.
Or you can use a shotgun.
And
you don't need to take time.
Yeah.
You can just kill them with a shotgun.
Or you could, use a sword.
Or a sword.
Or a bat'leth, or a pugil stick, or whatever.
So basically the point is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have a better chance of beating the Borg than, Starfleet's finest with their laser guns.
Yeah. They need to add the iMod. Because that's such
Okay, I'm at the end of this bit, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm almost there. I'm just fighting like the infinite swarms of dogs.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too. Yeah, I'm wondering if the iMod thing's just like, I'm assuming it's a rights issue at this point.
It must be.
Probably is owned by Activision.
Yeah, it could be part of that. Like I would have been pretty sure that game would have been done under the auspices of CBS and not Paramount. But the fact that basically arguably the only thing from Elite Forces which has shown up in STO is personal scale shields.
And that's not even that big of a stretch.
That's not even that big of a stretch.
Probably exists in some RPG or something before that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Actually, no, the animated series had those even.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, the animated series is also something that they didn't...
It's dubiously canon,
yeah. Well, it's not that it was dubiously canon, it's that Cryptic didn't have the rights to the animated series. I think we did talk about this not that long ago, and I know I've talked about it well in the past as well, but they weren't allowed to use anything that was in the animated series unless they could show it was somewhere else that they did have rights to. Which is, again, why we have the Cadians but not the other cat people that
Frisians.
were... What was that?
Or, no, Kinsidi.
Yeah, because I keep wanting to say it's the Frisians, but I know it's not the Frisians because that's what's in the game.
Kinsidi, yeah, it's well. The other thing with the Kinsidi, and I'm probably pronouncing that name horribly wrong, is they're also straight up from a book series by Larry Niven called Known Space. And for the animated series, he just said straight up, "Okay, yeah, sure, you can use them." Do I end up in the same map as you do?
You look like you did.
Yay! Leroy Johansson.
Yeah, that's... Yep, we're looking like this is a scam. What have we got here? Okay.
That's horrifying looking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
That is... Where did that come from?
I don't know. I want to say Cthulhu.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, you should always be fit, even if you're going to be flying shuttles.
I'm still stuck on the eye plants.
The eye plants
I
must...
want to know where those came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Okay, so it was a Ferengi trap.
That's why there's Nausicaans around here.
Akbar. We've been Akbar'd.
That's not what I want. Where is...
That is a lot of ground troops.
Yeah.
Time to play this like it's Call of Duty. Generating health and everything. Or, you know, dying and respawning exactly like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean that...
I should mention I've never played Call of Duty in multiplayer, so I have no idea. I play Call of Duty 2 just to shoot Nazis.
I was looking for Orbital Strike, but apparently it was removed from my bar. Probably with like the whole big change to the skills. Oops. Well, this is what you get for setting up shop so close to the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Hellmouth? Who names their ship that?
I'm willing to bet there are at least, like, probably 20 people in this game who did.
Yeah, I imagine that there are a number of players who did.
Could be a Buffy reference.
It's probably a lot of things reference. Alright, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we knew what they were referencing.
Yep. Can we feed them to the eye plants?
That would be nice, but I don't think the eye plants actually have mouths.
That's what makes it more horrifying to be fed to them.
Alright. Oh, that's why. You're on another map again. Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was a map transition there.
Yeah, I think I know why. Probably because the guy didn't know or realize he could do like the phasing. But yeah, there was no reason for there to be a map transition. And it just caused us to get into...
Yeah, that's a question about the console version. Will it have the Foundry?
That's a very good question.
Does Neverwinter's have the console version have the Foundry?
I don't know whether it does. I would hope that Cryptic is intending to have it be just as fully featured. So I'm hoping that the console version will also have the Foundry, because like it really is one of the best parts of the game. Like, yeah, some of the missions may not necessarily be that great, because there are
some of them are nightmare-inducing.
There are bad missions out there for sure, and there are missions of people who are just trying to game the system. Like it's kind of frustrating a little bit when I go into the top-rated section of the Foundry, and it's like, half to a full third, so half to like 3/4 of all the missions that they lay out there are just, hey, here's
loot grinders.
Yeah, here's loot grinders, or here's like achievement grinders, or just stuff like that. It's sad, but like at the same time, there are people who make some really great stuff in it.
That's something you have to just deal with any content creation system.
Pretty much.
Tools.
And then, to their credit, Cryptic does do some fairly effective things at making, like discouraging people from playing, like loot grinders or like those types of things. It's just I wish that they didn't have to go through such like hacky ways to fix that.
Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering if shooter mode will be like the default for ground combat in that game.
You know what? I imagine it probably will be. Well, I mean, all's well that ends well here, I guess. Alright. That was alright.
It was goofy fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that. So good on you for making something silly and actually worked kind of well. And also being one of maybe the only Foundry mission we've played so far that actually has you physically fly to another location instead of just warping you there automatically.
Yeah, it's good. It just could have used like another editing pass, I guess.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely some parts where, towards the back half, there are definitely a few places where I was noticing that there was the same typo constantly. Like, I kind of realized that he stopped spelling Admiral right.
Yeah. Well, that and also a couple excess map transitions.
Yeah, there were a number of map transitions that were pretty unnecessary. All the stuff with the Nausicaans could have been combined together a little more, because there wasn't. I don't necessarily think that they needed the second and third one before you got to Lier here.
Yeah.
Like having the one when you met up with the shuttle at the start, that would have been fine to set things up, and just had it be something that sort of follows through. Because like the Nausicaans were such a minor aspect of the story as a whole that they didn't need to be so constantly present.
Yeah, if you need another one, like have it happen on your way back to Earth, I guess. Just do that as a transition.
Yeah,
rather than
like that would have worked better than having you fly to Seoul. Just have it be a map transition from Deep Space Nine on the way back to Seoul. You run into some Nausicaan ambushers.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. I give it 4 stars.
Yeah. So I did still enjoy that. But yeah, hopefully that gentleman took some insight from that and carried on. I'll have to, well, maybe look later. But in any case, I think that'll be it for us for this week. Well, thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.